Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, Tuesday morning, September 6th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, the lovely Linda K. Glad. I couldn't even pronounce glad right now. I was so glad to have you back. Glad to have Linda K back. It's the day after Labor Day, and it's also my nephew's birthday. I believe he's 24 this year. Today is also the sad day. Once we get off the air here, my nephew leaving the city of Milwaukee for good and moving out to Arizona.
For college.
No, he's actually out of college now. He has moved on and has taken a job.
I just caught myself that you just said he's 24, and
Yeah.
I was saying, is he moving to college? You know why? It's because my nephew just moved into a dorm as well in the University of Wisconsin.
It's that time of year. Yeah.
Yes.
That time of year.
So in my mind, because Meathead, it was a jam-packed weekend of wrestling.
Oh,
and just
my
amongst
God.
other things. I mean, I heard you talking about just how much you had going on with
I had two more
Matthew
drafts
yesterday.
last night.
Yes, so
they were simultaneous. Yeah, they were simultaneous. I've never had to do that before. I had Yahoo on one tab and ESPN on the other, and I hear do 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 winning. Bring. All right, which one do I draft for? Do I have that one queued down? Oh my God!
That is
and the wrestling.
Overload. Yes.
The wrestling, for the love of God, the wrestling and the news. But before we get into the news, I know our friends have a brand new shirt out there, and I want you to tell us about it.
That would be our tremendous friends over at Collar and Elbow. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions, including Meathead just mentioning some new shirts there as well. And
the Brotherhood of Workers is out there. That's a great color on that shirt, too. I love that color.
Yeah, so, whether you want to get some updated wardrobe into your dorm room, since that's a hot topic this morning, or if you were at a live wrestling event. We had a lot of wrestling. We had some local stuff. We also had, obviously, some international stuff. I know you and Matthew touched on some of that on the huge show yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even get to all of it.
Yes. You can always be sporting Collar and Elbow. And if you want to save some extra cash on your Collar and Elbow attire, make sure to use promo code LindaK, that's LINDAKAY, to save 10% each and every time.
Yeah, the Brotherhood.
I changed that up.
That's okay. The Brotherhood of Workers. I absolutely love that. Get on that email list, too, with Collar and Elbow. I love what they're doing. We said this off here. I got to bring this on air. So I said that I had a memory pop up of Uncle Al, something that he put out there. Uncle Al's always got the funnies, right? I'm down with OPF, other people's funnies. And this email now always has a nice quote from Al Snow. His quote in the email says, "Be humble. Jesus drove a Honda, but didn't talk about it. For I did not speak of my own accord." John 12:49.
Yes.
Oh, Al.
There are the quotes. I do see that in those emails.
Hey, you had some quick Al Snow news, right? Is Al Snow going to be coming to our area pretty soon, or is his friend coming by?
Well, first off, I mentioned a lot of local wrestling stuff. We had our friend Fanny Pack Kid Cal Hero compete at the wrestling showcase that was put on by Fight TV and our friends there, including Josh Sternoff there.
So says Sternoff.
Yes, that was in Schaumburg, Illinois. And then that night, Al was doing a comedy tour. Uncle Al was in Oregon, Illinois, with the funnies. I just thought about that because we just talked about the funny quotes in the Collar and Elbow emails, and also just announced. So GLCW, we go up to a town called Merrill, Wisconsin, kind of north central Wisconsin. Great people there. I've been really enjoying the shows we've been doing there. I've been doing a lot of the ring announcing there with GLCW, and we have a show this Saturday. It's called Rockin'. We now have a different guest of honor related to the title Rockin'. Former New Rocker Leif Cassidy, aka Uncle Al, will be in the house in Merrill, Wisconsin this Saturday. So it was a huge announcement. I saw the photo revised with Leif Cassidy on there.
That photo.
I was like, what?
Can I say it right? That shit-eating grin. That photo. I love that photo.
Yeah, so anybody who can make it out to that show, blizzardbrawl.com. I'll be there ring announcing, hosting various things throughout the show. We have we just mentioned Cal Hero there. We have his former tag partner Dustin Jackson that'll also be there. we've got some other stars from GLCW, OVW, good
Awesome.
times as well. So yeah. So anywho, just more Uncle Al news because looks like he's all over the road all over the country on the road as well.
That's right, the Willie Nelson of professional wrestling. All right. AEW All Out is in the books, just like Clash at the Castle, just like Worlds Collide. And we'll get to Worlds Collide tomorrow night when we talk NXT. But the news that is really blown up the internet right now, AEW has seen that WWE and Trips have really got things going, got them talking about, well, we're back to talking about AEW. Some of it good, some of it not so good. AEW has started something called a scrum that they have after their pay-per-views, and WWE has been doing it too, it's obviously a great idea. It's a post-show conference or, press conference or whatever you want to call it. This not good news coming out of the AEW All Out media scrum afterwards. CM Punk with a profanity-laced tirade. And folks, I don't need to really tell you what it is. I mean, you could just type in CM Punk in Google, and literally you'll get about 10 to 15 hits and results of what happened. So, Linda, I want to know your thoughts of the CM Punk presser.
I mean, I think just right from the start, before really anyone could get a word in, just went off on those he's no
Scott
longer
Cabana.
friends with.
Well,
Yes.
we'll say the man's name by name because it's on the internet. Scott Cabana.
Yeah. I honestly really didn't know, still don't know. I mean, obviously not really truly know the extent of what happened with them, but I definitely got a good understanding of it just based off what was told by Punk. I mean, just personal stuff. And again,
Yeah.
this is going to be out there. As honestly, I'm just not that of what's the word? Not fulfilled. Informed of the situation, but I've learned a lot about it since I'm seeing that media scrum.
Unintentionally, because I didn't want to know, and you probably didn't want to know about it, but here we are.
Just found out a lot. Also, we had some harsh words for EVPs there at AEW, and especially on Adam Page as well. And again, I didn't catch the whole scrum portion of that with Punk. I'm not sure if there was any other stars that were having their own press conferences there, but I didn't see Tony Khan getting much said there. It's interesting. I know Punk is back at the top, is the main champ there. I shouldn't say main, but
he's the face of the company right now.
Right,
He's got the belt and he's the face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
But on the heel side, the heel face of the company has returned. Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman back in the business. And you know what? I love it. I'm thinking about the next 3 months, and we talked about it with Matthew yesterday. I'm thinking about the next 3 months. Is it going to be at Dynamite at the Arthur Ashe Stadium for AEW, the US Open, that one? Could it be at Newark, New Jersey for Full Gear in November? I think it's time for MJF to become the champion.
Yeah, we've got some time to make more of that magic happen for him. And I mean, the fans, even being in Chicago right there, that pop, that love that MJF got, I mean, maybe that's part of what really riled up Punk right before that media scrum post conference interview session as well. But yeah, just a lot of stuff happening from All Out, and a lot of that news. I mean, really, that's been the main news right now is just the words from CM Punk. I mean, he is known for his pipe bombs. We're getting one there at the media scrum.
Yeah. So I said I didn't want to do it. I'm going to say one thing just in general, and this is just a blanket statement. It has nothing to do with any particular talent. I want the back of the house stuff to stay back of the house. I've said this before. Back of the house should stay back of the house. Front of the house, that's the part I care about. And Linda, what I mean by this is the product. So if you're doing backstage interviews or whatever that has to do with your television show, that's the part I care about. This whole nitpicking stuff in the company, it's unprofessional and it's not very adult. So I don't know where you stand on that, but I mean, there's more to come, obviously, and we could talk about it down the road. That's kind of where I'm at on that.
Right. I mean, even on Twitter nowadays too, because back in the day, what you saw on TV is what you knew, what you saw. All you really, the time really just cared, and for the most part, now as well, like some of us, that's maybe what you only cared to see. And I get it because it is entertainment. I know we're talking about pro wrestling here, but
Yeah, yeah.
still sports entertainment.
This particular story would have blew up the hotlines back in the day.
Yeah.
This would have blew up the hotlines. We had a hotline in Milwaukee, the WAUK Sports Radio, ESPN Sports Radio hotline, WCW, WWF, and ECW. Oh, God, I remember the hotline days. You won't believe who's going to show up on Raw tomorrow night or Nitro tomorrow night. Yeah, the hotline days. This would have blew up the hotlines. They could have got a month worth of just content on this. So, the hotlines. 900-909-9900. Get your parents' permission. All right, you ready to move on? Good old Mean Gene. We missed it, Gene. All right. Let's get into Raw from last night. What were you most excited about going into Raw as it got started? It's the post show for the Clash at the Castle.
Well, I think it started off in a way that did satisfy me, just because one of my favorite moments from Clash at the Castle was that Mysterio turn from Dominic. That clothesline on Ray. Yeah, him, turning on Edge, or not say turning, but not necessarily attacking. I figured he was gonna hit Edge in some manner. I wasn't expecting a kick to the balls, but it happened.
He kicked him so hard, Linda, the shoe flew off.
Yes.
And he got so mad he took the other one off. Hey,
but do you ever have one shoe come off? Or at least, me wearing some heels. Sometimes if one comes off, it's very uncomfortable.
Linda, what's that saying? Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yes. I was looking forward to seeing what would transpire between Edge and Dominic. Would he officially join Judgment Day? So I was looking forward to that, and just seeing who else made it back on that flight from Scotland.
There was a meme going around. It's not right, but it's pretty funny, of like an older Goofy and then his younger son at Disney, and then the father just driving, snarling at the kid, going, sorry. It was actually kind of funny. Like, could you imagine if Ray and Dominic had to sit next to each other on a plane, storyline wise, the entire time just going, wait till you get home. I'm telling your mother. So, and I proposed this to the Popcorn Night, David Hero, way back in the day when we were still doing the shows with him. I said, let's take Dom and let's take Ray scenario and put it to, say, Dave and Cal. What would happen if Cal clotheslined Dave out of his shoes?
I don't want to think about that, Meathead.
I don't either, but I mean, it's a hypothetical, right? Well, the beginning of the show did start off with Edge in the ring, and Edge basically said, in this promo, he's old enough to drink, he's old enough to drive, he's old enough to get in here and have a match, he's old enough to get this ass whooping. Come on out here. Linda, your thoughts on the whole thing? And literally, I think they're calling Rhea Poppy. Instead of Becky Lynch is the man, she's Poppy. What Poppy wants, Poppy gets.
Yeah, just really, really, confirming our assumptions or statements that she is the leader of Judgment Day. I know it's not official, but in my eyes, and I believe in yours as well, Meathead, she definitely is. And just, taking the mic and calling the shots, if you will. I assumed Dominic would be joining Judgment Day after what happened at Clash.
Mm-hmm.
I believe next week we do get a match between Dominic and Edge, which I think is a bit too soon.
It's a challenge out there. The challenge is out there. I don't know if the match is official.
Okay, but I think there's got to be something more, just showing Ray just pleading his son.
Yeah, he's trying to save his son because he knows what Edge will do.
Yes.
Hey, up at the top of the parking structure connected to the building, we see Tommaso Ciampa and The Miz coming up, and The Miz still doesn't want to talk about it, but when they get over to Miz's rental, it's not facing in the right direction.
Yeah. Much like smoke, we've had quite the amount of vehicles either turned over, on fire, or maybe that was a dumpster. But
dumpsters on fire. Yep.
But I will say, Meathead, that's not necessarily a confirmed actions from
right.
Loomis.
Right. We're on the same page here.
Okay.
We're on the same page here because the next match is the 4-way #1 contenders match for the tag team titles. New Day, Alpha Academy, Los Lotharios, and the Street Profits, which we got no winner because welcome back. the streets. I messed up those lines. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around. Welcome back, Braun Strowman, the monster among men. When I think of a flipped over car, I think Braun Strowman.
Absolutely. He's flipped many large vehicles in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it.
He's lifted up ambulances, too, I think I've seen.
Oh, yeah. But that doesn't still mean that it was Braun that has been flipping these vehicles. It could be. I mean, obviously, he did debut last night at Raw. So if we don't see any more flipped vehicles, then we can go with the assumption that's been Braun Strowman.
All right.
But hey, great to see our friend. Braun Strowman there. So happy to see him back on the huge stage there at WWE. And yeah, quite a statement. I mean, I know he came in and interrupted that Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders tag team match. But I want to now see. I know he's going to be on SmackDown. They did announce that.
He announced it, that he'll be on SmackDown.
Okay, or yes, he did. I want to know who he will go after, or if we're going to get, maybe.
Does he team up with a certain individual that's been calling out the chosen one? Maybe a former narrative controller?
Possibly.
Maybe a tag team of Karrion Kross and Braun Strowman.
Possibly.
Oh.
Although, I don't know. Sending Karrion Kross and Scarlett all the way to Scotland for that little interference at ringside makes me think that that's going to be something between Karrion and Drew for quite a minute there before there'd be a potential tag team between Braun and Karrion. But in the future, perhaps. I just want to know if he's going to have the singles run, who his feud will be, because he interrupted a tag match but didn't have a tag partner.
Yeah, remember, Braun Strowman actually did have a tag team partner. I think his tag team partner and tag team champion was, 9 years old? 10 years old?
Nicholas.
Yeah. Braun Strowman won the tag team championships at WrestleMania and picked a kid out of the crowd to be his partner.
Well, I guess it can happen again.
I guess it could. Maybe you could pick Karrion Kross off of SmackDown. That would be an intimidating tag team. I mean, right there, I'd be dropping a team to pick up a team because that's the one I see knocking out the Usos. All right, let's get back to the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, taking on Nikki ASH and Mount Dewdrop. The winners, Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez. Looking good.
Yeah, I mean, they just won that huge women's tag tournament. Let's keep the engines revving.
Yeah.
If you will, with them.
All right. Now, after the match, we get backstage with Ray asking where things stand with him and Dominic. And he says he doesn't have really anything to say other than he loves his son. Just needs to have a word with him in private because he's concerned that the Judgment Day are trying to tear his life apart by separating his son, poisoning his mind. There was a group of fans chanting Eddie's son on the side.
I heard that.
Oh boy. I mean, they brought up the story obviously on A&E last week, during the Mysterio biography. So it's not like they were trying to be, funny. It literally is part of the TV circle right now. All right, here comes not just Theory, but Austin Theory with his Money in the Bank briefcase. We saw him with a failed attempt to cash in at the Clash, and he got knocked the F out by Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. You know what? Kevin Owens was perfect. He goes, oh, yeah, you like that? You like that? You got the neck to hell out? Here, watch this, guys. You got KO'd. Damn, Kevin, that was perfect.
Yeah. I also love, I know he just got his brain rattled, if you will, his head rattled, as they kept mentioning when Theory was trying to speak, and he mentioned Crown Jewel. He might have mentioned the wrong title. That was great. At first, I was like, oh, but then it happened a few times. And unless he covered that up by just constantly hitting himself back in the head and being like, oh, nope. But yeah, I got a good laugh out of that.
He got knocked out by the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. So, I mean, I would completely understand.
Too, though. I was like, whoa.
Dude, look at Allen in The Hangover. He took a punch from Tyson. I mean, he was nutty after that.
Yes.
All right, this all leads to a match. Austin Theory and Kevin Owens. And KO gets the stunner. After the match, Owen obviously standing tall. The Miz and Ciampa backstage again. Miz is a little bit on edge, and he doesn't want to talk about you-know-who. Remember, they don't mention his name.
Yeah, very reminiscent to what happened with Austin Theory back at NXT and Dexter Lumis, where
Mhm.
you didn't want to admit that you knew that Dexter
All right.
Lumis was after you.
The name that shall not be named. All right. Cool. Here we go. We got Io Sky and Dakota Kai. And Bailey saying hello, calling everybody idiots. You're not going to win any fans that way, Bailey. Your thoughts on the promo that came out of the women and calling out Bianca Belair?
Well, kind of like what you discussed with Matthew yesterday, or maybe it was Matthew that kind of brought it to
Matthew
fruition
called
that,
it on Friday
yeah,
morning, and it happened.
yeah, Bailey getting that pinned, setting up something nice, a nice program between her and Bianca, or at least, that's what we hope. I think um, that's huge. I mean, we already got something started since SummerSlam with interaction between and face to face, like literally between Bianca and Bailey there, and now we got the trios match and leading up to something future pay per view for sure.
So Johnny Gargano comes back and he says before being rudely interrupted, he is announcing that after 9 months, he'll be making his in-ring return next Monday on Raw. They are doing a great thing. Dynamite had been doing this for a few years now, but Raw are setting up solid matches that I care about and want to see the week after.
Yeah, we're definitely getting more of the previews and even mentioned on both shows. Like on SmackDown, you'll hear what's coming up on Raw. Raw, you hear what's coming up on SmackDown. We didn't get that
Synergy.
much. Yeah,
Synergy.
exactly.
Yep. All right. How about Mysterio and Damian Priest? And, you've got Dominic out there just eyeballing that slicked up hair and that smirk on the face after Damian Priest wins due to interference from Rhea Ripley or Poppy.
Yeah. He didn't say a word. He doesn't have to. He's got
Nope. He
Rhea.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
He should be just in the background. All right. So let's talk about the main event. We've got a steel cage match for the WWE United States title. Two characters that were not on TV, as far as I remember, from Clash of the Castle, correct? We didn't see Miz or Bobby Lashley. I know we didn't see Bobby Lashley because I didn't get any points from him. But yeah, I like how they do this sometimes where they'll have the big main event match, before the pay-per-view if you're not going to be on the pay-per-view proper, or you have a big match featured, right after the show. Maybe you weren't traveling that week or whatever. I love this particular iteration of how we introduced Dexter Lumis. Miz is up on the cage. He's and the camera angle was great too. They've had a spy cam, like a drone cam, over the top of Miz, looking down, and you see Dexter Lumis laying on his back, staring up like only Dexter Lumis can. I thought possibly they might have Miz move over to the side and maybe Dexter Lumis slide, but then again, the center of the ring's got the post, so he would have to been, pretty quick about moving underneath there. So Lumis finally comes out from underneath the ring, goes face to face with Miz. Miz is distracted. Spear, 1, 2, 3. Bobby retains. As Dexter Lumis climbs up the cage and into the cage, Miz trying to escape. Bobby says, closes the cage. Lumis puts Miz to sleep and pets his head at the end of the night.
Oh man, what a unique introduction to more of your mainstream WWE fans who may not have known much about Sam Shaw than Dexter Lumis. He's so good at this and very entertaining. I mean, just from the start. I mean, all these kabuki shenanigans that we've been seeing, yes, and just the way he pulled Miz to the back that one time. Yeah, I mean, when have we really had Miz be so quiet verbally? We're getting that. We're seeing him being scared and intimidated, and well, more scared, I would say. It's just to be interesting. I mean, we come back next week. Does he just not mention it at all? It seems like every time we come back from a Dexter Lumis interaction sighting, it's as if it didn't happen, or if he didn't want it to ever happen. This one, obviously clear what has happened. So, yeah, we'll see if things change with Miz in his attitude, his demeanor towards Dexter Lumis. But
what? I'll tell you. I was going to say, I'll tell you. You know what else is great too is Tommaso playing into it as well. And by the way, Tommaso wearing the new Miz T-shirt. I absolutely love that shirt. It says everything under: Skull Crushing Finale, 2-time champion. I love the new shirt, and he's got Tommaso wearing it instead of him. But no, I think that he's gonna say nope, not here, not happening. Be in complete denial, and then Tommaso going, yeah, that thing's happening again.
Sports
Wow.
entertainment.
It is sports entertainment and wrestling, professional wrestling, which we can also say now. Linda, glad to have you back. Glad you had a good weekend. Glad that we got the Labor Day weekend over. I got to tell you this very quick story here, folks. I'm a big fan of the Batman, right? Love Batman. Love all the Batmans. The Dark Knight, obviously, my favorite trilogy, of course. But today was also the anniversary. 6 years ago, Linda, I had a real live bat flying around in my house. Thank God for Facebook and the memories. The rest of Facebook can go to hell, but I love the way I typed it out. It says, "Dude, I'm a fan of Batman, but I didn't need a real life one." I literally cowered like a little girl watching TV as the bat just did circles in my house. I tell my girls and my wife not to come out of the room because I had to dive, open up the patio door, and let the bat finally escape. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I like vampires, or I've always have. I like that darkness. I love vampire movies.
Mhm.
But if I had a bat lying in my living room, I don't even know how.
And it never stopped. It just kept moving. So I was comfortable that at least it wasn't pooping anywhere or biting anything.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, in my paranoia, I had very little girls. We saw a pimple on one of their legs. Guess where we ended up in about 30 minutes later? We went right to the emergency room
Oh,
for a pimple.
just in case if it was a.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let my daughter die off of me being lazy or being cheap. We're going to an emergency room.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Yeah. I will say about bats though, while I rarely see any outdoors. I know we live in Wisconsin, but I'm not in the outdoors in the woods ears too much.
Mhm.
If I see one, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I'm like, oh wait, they might have some type of disease. They might want to suck
Oh,
my
they're covered in
blood.
rabies. Yeah, they're covered in
Yeah.
rabies. Yeah.
I think they're still cute. I just don't know how would I react if it was right in my face.
I'm swinging.
However, do you know what my favorite exhibit is at the zoo?
Tell me.
The bats.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. By the way, folks, San Diego Zoo tops in the country, right? Milwaukee Zoo, no slouch. Probably top 5. If you get into Milwaukee, make sure you visit the Milwaukee County Zoo.
Yes.
For Linda Kay, for Matthew Thomas on the Man They Call Meathead. Yes.
Are we discussing a little draft, or are we saving that for midweek?
Oh,
Someday? What are we?
yeah, let's talk about it. I'm not happy with the way it worked out, but I didn't do too bad. Brought to you by the accounting firm, Dewey, Cheatham and Howe. The draft totals for the 2022-2023 PWR Fantasy Draft. Linda, 3 pay-per-view events. Clash of the Castle, When Worlds Collide, AEW All Out. We're going to combine all the totals here in the spreadsheet that the accounting firm will send you out. You'll see the breakdown for each show. But Linda Kay, over one weekend, you have set a new PWR Fantasy Draft record with 805 points.
Yeah, baby.
805 points. How many title wins did you have? I think it was 1 or 2.
Gunther, Tony Storm.
Tony Storm was a title win. Gunther's a retain.
Defense, excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just know that I had everybody on my team on either
on a show,
Clash
yeah,
or at All Out, and most of them did win. I had some that did not, but
so far down in distant third was Matthew Thomas. His weekend pickups, 2 title wins on AEW. He picked up Kenny Omega. He picked up Crazy Mariachi Punk, and he got title wins out of both of them. The Man They Call Meathead still chugging along. Here are the totals. Again, brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe. The Man They Call Meathead still leading very narrowly, 2,420 points. Linda Kay now in second with 2,365.
oh,
Matthew Thomas jumping far from where he was before with 600 points over the weekend at 1,790. I scored 635, so I still outpaced Matthew, but Linda, a huge distance cleared for you.
yes, that's exciting. I know there's other drafts going on right now, hence it is fall, but I am so excited to be a part of this draft here because it's the one I care most about, Meathead.
You're only 55 points behind.
That's crazy.
And we're probably only about a third of the way through the season. Welcome back to the fantasy draft.
Woo!
I'm not too happy myself. Obviously, I lost a title, so Moxley no longer the champion. Let's talk about it again throughout the week. So for Matthew, for Linda, the Man They Call Meathead, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.